95% of the world's watches are made here, including the one you're wearing right now. Many big brand watches are produced or sourced for parts from here. This place is Shenzhen City, the world watch capital city.
Where do these high-end watches really come from? Are those $20,000 Rolexes you see on people's wrists truly handcrafted Swiss masterpieces? Or were they quietly mass-produced in a factory somewhere in China alongside thousands of identical pieces?
You pay $4,400 for a Mitas Tudor Black Bay monochrome. You pay almost $10,000 for a Rolex Submariner. And a Royal Oak Extra Thin, it costs like $36,000. Cheap is not a word that applies.
The watch is often blurred. However, when you come to Guangzhou, you cannot see any problem just by looking at the appearance. What you need to be careful about is that the low quality movement inside will be sold at a high price.
My suggestion is you can try it first or buy it for a legal way. I'm Sean. See you next time.
The way Chinese manufacturers are pulling back the curtain on the luxury watch industry right now? It's wild. What used to be whispered rumors are now full-blown confessions. TikTok is flooded with unboxings, and let's just say, factories in Shenzhen? They're done playing it quiet. And the tea they're spilling? It's scalding. The Swiss can't charm their way out of this one. Too much has come to light. It's messy, it's loud, and honestly, it's kind of embarrassing. Things got so intense that Rolex had to publicly announce a major price drop on some of their prized models. Yep, people are stunned, but before we dive into all the juicy receipts, shady loopholes, and industry drama, let's rewind for a second and get to the heart of this chaos. Time to take a trip back to the real watch capital of the world. Spoiler alert. It's not Switzerland. Think about it, you probably grew up hearing that the finest watches come from Switzerland, right? Well, it's time to rethink everything.
In Shenzhen, you must not miss this factory.
Ask and y'all should receive. Tisa, where are the watch manufacturers? I did some digging and I found the watch manufacturers. There is a new scandal coming out of the luxury watch division. Listen, if you want to keep going to Rolex, if you want to keep going to AP and spending your money, go and do that. However, industry insiders are coming out, and I have their videos. People have even been fired from it for lifting the hood away from the
Snowy mountains, skilled old men with magnifying glasses, delicately crafting each Rolex by hand. It's a cute image, but let's be real. It's more fairy tale than fact. Time for some real talk. Welcome to Shenzhen, China, the actual watch capital of the world. No joke. Over 95% of all watches on this planet are made in China, and a massive chunk of them come straight out of Shenzhen.
Most Swiss watches are actually made in China, and the reason that replicas often look just as good as the original is that they are made in the same factory.
They offer a wide range of styles to choose from, maintain strict production standards, and can support customization, starting from just 50 pieces. What? Worry about them are just middlemen? You contact them directly.
And no, we're not just talking about cheap knockoffs. We're talking top-tier materials, high-end dials, polished bracelets, sapphire glass, ceramic bezels, the real deal. These watches are built with legit components, produced in volumes so massive that Switzerland simply can't keep up, and here's where things get really spicy. Some Shenzhen factories are allegedly manufacturing parts for major players like Omega, Tag Heuer, Tissot, and maybe even quietly contributing to the actual Rolex supply chain. These aren't your obvious $30 Raleighs from the swap meet. Nope. These timepieces are assembled using real components, allegedly from the very same factories that supply the big names. The only thing missing? That official Swiss stamp of approval. But here's the wildest part. Some of these factories aren't even trying to stay in the shadows anymore. They're flexing openly. Some are now taking custom orders directly from the public. That means you could skip the luxury boutique and go straight to the plug for your next high-end watch.
Watches come in different sizes. A small dial makes your wrist slimmer, while a large one makes you a stronger area. First of all, you need to determine your budget range. The Rolex Data Jet is the best choice for cost-effective.
But that raises a big question. If your luxury watch is mostly made in China, why does it still say Swiss made on the dial? Let me put you on game, because that little label is one of the slickest loopholes in fashion history. You see that Swiss-made stamp sitting pretty at the bottom of the watch face? The one that screams elite taste, class, and old money vibes? Yeah, it doesn't mean what you think it means. Despite what the luxury brands want you to believe, Swiss-made doesn't mean the whole watch was handcrafted in a cozy chalet in the Alps. According to Swiss law, only 60% of the value of a watch has to come from Switzerland to earn that label. Let me say that again, value, not the actual product. And what counts as value? Branding, marketing, research, even just dropping the movement into the case once it lands in Geneva. That's Itijo. Picture this. A factory in Shenzhen manufactures the case, bracelet, dial, basically the entire watch, and ships it out almost fully assembled. Then, someone in Switzerland installs the movement, gives it a quick polish, and boom, it's officially Swiss-made. Meanwhile, you're dropping $6,000 on a watch that's mostly built in China but dressed up with a Swiss label and a luxury glow-up. Thanks to a little marketing magic and a few finishing touches, and don't get it twisted, this isn't some brand new scandal. The luxury world has been playing this game for years. Started as whispers on Reddit, leaked its way onto TikTok, and now it's exploding with insider exposés. One former employee even claimed he got fired from a major Swiss watch brand just for asking too many questions.
I'm going to fire Harold.
Why?
The watch is a fake.
What's fake about it?
According to the serial number,
it doesn't correspond.
He was just restoring vintage watches from the 70s when he uncovered something shocking. Turns out, even back then, tons of parts were already coming from Asia. He dropped photos, bracelets, hands, dials, all straight out of China. And the movement? Sometimes it was Swiss, but other times, just a cheap $5 quartz piece tossed in last minute. Wild, right? So yeah, this scandal runs way deeper than people thought. And now you're probably asking, why hasn't mainstream media blown the lid off this mess? Simple. The luxury watch world is drowning in money. Big magazines rake in millions in ad revenue from Rolex, Omega, Cartier. You think they're gonna bite the hand that feeds them? Not a chance. And watch bloggers? Even worse. These folks are flown out to Baselworld, gifted watches, wined and dined at brand dinners. Influencers are literally paid to smile, pose, and keep it cute. No one's risking their next free Rolex to tell the truth. That's why the underdogs are stepping in. YouTubers like Misty, TikTokers, and even anonymous factory workers who are done staying silent. They're pulling back the curtain and showing what's really going on behind the luxury glitz, and just when everyone thought Rolex was untouchable, boom, they made a move nobody saw coming. They dropped their prices, not across the board, of course, but just enough to get people whispering, "Wait, what's going on?" Reports from deep inside watch forums and high-end dealers say certain Rolex models, like the Submariner, the GMT Master 2, and even some Oyster Perpetuals, got quiet price cuts of up to 20% in select markets, and guess what? These just happen to be the same models exploding in the replica world. Coincidence? Yeah, right, now don't get it twisted. Rolex didn't blast this in some flashy campaign. Please. Rolex never goes on sale. They played it like they always do, smooth and subtle. These price drops were handled mostly by authorized dealers in very specific locations, but the watch crowd? They noticed. Immediately. Especially since this came right after that Chinese exposé went viral. The one showing Rolex-style cases and bezels getting boxed up by the thousands and shipped straight from a warehouse in Longgang. Let's be real. Brands like Rolex don't just slash prices for fun. Especially not a brand built on hype, exclusivity, and that hard-to-get flex. So the fact that Rolex made those quiet price cuts right when their supply chain drama went viral? Yeah, luxury watch fans are stressed. Because the whole illusion of high fashion relies on one thing: mystery. The idea that you're chasing something rare, exclusive, something you can't have, but now? That illusion's been shattered. People are cutting out the middlemen entirely. They're sliding into private Telegram chats, WeChat circles, and low-key WhatsApp groups, where entire factories are selling direct to consumers. Some are even offering full custom luxury builds for a tiny fraction of what you'd pay retail, and here's the twist: they're not even calling them replicas anymore. Nope. The game has evolved. Now it's factory B grade. Homage. Same line release. Parallel build. Or the fan favorite, unbranded OEM. Translation? We made it, we just legally can't say we made it for Rolex. It's giving DHgate, but way more polished, and get this. A whistleblower recently claimed that some Chinese suppliers get leftover materials from real Rolex production orders. And instead of tossing the extras, they finish the job and sell them under the radar. These aren't cheap fakes. These aren't mall counter knockoffs. These are basically the real thing, just missing that final Rolex blessing. Now let's switch gears and talk money. Luxury watches, especially the ones made by giants like Swatch Group, Richemont, and LVMH, usually run on profit margins between 10% and 20%. That's not pocket change, but it's not cartoon villain evil either. But compare that to the real moneymakers, tech and pharma. Apple, rocking a 32% margin. Microsoft, a smooth 38%. Novo Nordisk, the company behind Ozempic, try 39%. Suddenly that $15,000 Rolex doesn't feel that outrageous anymore, right? But hold up, don't get too warm and fuzzy toward Rolex just yet. Trust, they're still eating. And I mean eating.
Rolex to your collection, these are the 5 cheapest Rolex watches that you can buy right now. First one, we got the 36mm Datejust 16220 with the engine turn bezel, and it's worth around $6,500. The next watch is a 36mm Datejust 16014 with the blue dial and fluted bezel. This one is priced at around $6,200.
In different sizes, a small dial makes you wrist slimmer, while a larger one makes you a stronger era. First of all, you need to determine your budget range. The Rolex Datejust is the best choice for cost-effective. For more advanced options, there's post and professional models. Let's look at the submariners here.